It's very disappointing. Okay, I've come to consider Elon a good friend. He's obviously a very intelligent person, and he's done a lot of great work. With all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong about the one big beautiful bill.
That's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, taking a whack at Elon Musk, because Elon Musk came out and was very blunt and very vocal in his denouncing the big, bad, beautiful bill that is making its way through the Congress as we speak. It's true that Elon Musk did not speak favorably of the bill. And so the Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, came out and said, I'm just going to disagree. But still, it's not Democrats, so they're not firebombing anything. They're not shooting anybody, as Democrats are so fond of doing all over the place. But isn't that amazing? Man, oh, Manischewitz, I am telling you, what a town this is, this town. Hey, there's Elon Musk now. Because Elon Musk, he doesn't like the big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk urges voters to fire all politicians who voted for Trump's budget. Betrayed the American people, he says. Now, it's kind of an interesting situation. Elon Musk, is he trying to win his Democrat friends back or something? Because they can't be won back. They're not going to be won back. And Elon Musk pulled no punches on Tuesday in slamming the Republican Party for passing President Donald Trump's big, beautiful budget bill through the House of Representatives, urging everyone who voted for it to be fired. This is Elon Musk saying Republicans that voted for it should be fired next November, come the House elections and all that. Musk made the comments just days after leaving his role in the Trump administration with a friendly send-off in the Oval Office with President Trump. While railing against the bill on Tuesday, Elon Musk shared a post from an X user slamming the GOP and replied, "In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people." Musk made the bombastic comments in reply to a user, and the user wrote, "Okay, let me just get this straight. The GOP are out there spending millions of dollars on luxury hotels in Ukraine." That's kind of an obscure thing to throw in there. "Not voting on any Doge cuts." That is a pertinent point there, I think. "Spending 60% of their time on vacation." I think now you're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. "Not codifying executive orders." This on vacation thing. They're not supposed to spend all their time in Washington. They're supposed to spend most of their time at home with their constituents who voted for them and all of that. So not being in Washington doesn't mean you're on vacation. Not to defend members of Congress, but that's just true. "Not codifying executive orders." Is this the major reform the American people voted for? And so then Elon Musk took that and retweeted it. And he said, Elon Musk said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." You got to say that twice. You know you did wrong, and then you know it. So Elon Musk putting that out there yesterday. And he gets to say what he wants. This is the Republican Party. It's not the Democrat Party. You don't have to goose step in unison on everything. And he gets to play his role, and then he gets to say what he thinks. And I got to say, there's plenty wrong with this gigantic bill. There is. We're not freezing spending. We're not stopping the increases in spending. We're not going to stop adding to the national debt, just to name a couple of things. Now, that wasn't likely to happen the first budget, the first big budget bill. But I'd like that to be the topic of discussion from this point forward at a bare minimum. Now, there is a story today that has the Democrats going crazy and soiling themselves once again. The headline from WFIN, a Democrat-run operation, I'm sure. I'm not familiar with them, but I'm sure. The headline is Trump sends $9.4 billion DOGE cuts proposal to Congress. Now, $9.4 billion is not all that much money, but I was saying, you mean $9.4 trillion? No, $9.4 billion is the correct number. But listen to this. Targeting NPR, PBS. Hey, wait a minute. We're giving billions of dollars to all these Democrat institutions, from Harvard University and Yale, billions and billions and billions. Harvard has $53 billion in endowments just sitting around earning money because capitalism is good, even if they teach that it's bad at Harvard. But never mind that. And we're funding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which gives our money to PBS, the Panhandler Broadcasting System, and NPR, National Panhandler Radio. And they want your grandmother to give over her property and her cars and her kitten to NPR so they can sell it into slavery. But amazing stuff. The clock will start ticking away soon on Congress, considering President Donald Trump's $9.4 billion request for spending cuts. Now, this is a good fight for the president to pick because, again, like giving billions to Harvard University, and then you see, they're giving their professors $1 million a year each, and then they say, oh, well, if we cut funding to Harvard, we're going to have to stop curing cancer. It's like, well, first of all, I wasn't aware that you had cured cancer or that you were curing cancer. Secondly, if you're going to prioritize your dollars, maybe you should prioritize that. Well, we do research here. Oh, really? And that's what you do with the billions of dollars that we give you? What do you teach? Anti-Semitism, I think, is what they teach. Anti-Americanism, too. But at the same time we're funding Harvard, we're also funding Big Bird and Sesame Street, which had this billion-dollar contract with HBO and HBO Max because they're a private enterprise, and we pour billions, tens of millions certainly, into the pockets of the people that put Sesame Street on the air. But then we fund, we're not funding this radio station. Taxpayers are not funding the radio station. I'm in my mothership radio station right now. My mothership station is WMAL in Washington, D.C., where we've been on the air for 100 years now, since 1925, right? And we've always funded ourselves without taxpayer funding. I'm on now 250,000 radio stations throughout the galaxy. I'm on about 200 stations around the country, 200 radio stations, and none of them get taxpayer money. But the left-wingers, they can't make it in the marketplace of ideas on their own. They need to suckle on the taxpayer teat. Now, why are tax dollars being taken out of my paychecks when I work in radio, and those dollars are taken and given to someone else in radio who's competing against my show? What kind of communist loony bin is this? So, and obviously I've been saying for many years that we shouldn't be funding. And look, I've got nothing against PBS, and I've got nothing against NPR. They should, be propaganda outlets for the Democrat Party, as they've been basically all my life. And that's fine with me. But I shouldn't have to pay their salaries. And again, I have, in D.C., you have PBS anchors live in neighborhoods with multi-million-dollar houses, and they drive their golden Mercedes station wagons. And I see them driving around, and I think, why am I helping them pay for their beach houses with my tax dollars? And the answer is corruption. What kind of corruption, Chris? Democrat Party corruption. And dumb Republicans who, for decades, have allowed American tax dollars to go to funding the most elaborate propaganda apparatus the world has ever known. And that is the Panhandler Broadcasting System and National Panhandler Radio. NPR is the most elaborate propaganda network on the planet Earth. And Republicans have refused to defund PBS. Oh, I like that Ken Burns series on jazz. Wasn't that? Yeah, that's great. That'll make millions of dollars on NBC or on HBO or any place else. This is the marketplace of ideas, and we don't need these people suckling on the taxpayer teat, funded by me to be the Democrat Party's propaganda apparatus. Please. So now President Trump says cut $9.4 billion in federal spending that will, and they use the word targets. Now, you guys target with Molotov cocktails and riots and rifles. A list too long. You shot President Trump. You shot Steve Scalise. Yet how many more have been arrested trying to shoot people? Firebombing the Jewish governor, Josh Shapiro, his governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. You got the illegal alien from Egypt who's firebombing pro-Israel. He's the Israelites. He's firebombing Molotov cocktails and a flamethrower that he created. You know, you guys, we need to stop funding your propaganda apparatus. Pay your own way in the world, like I do and like we all do at this radio station, every radio station that I'm on, because none of my stations are PBS stations or NPR stations. Isn't that amazing? And how many do we have in Washington, D.C.? I think we have 3 NPR stations in Washington. Is that right? Got WETA, WAMU, WHUR. Isn't that right? 3 NPR stations in Washington, D.C. And how many self-sustaining conservative talk radio stations are there in Washington, D.C.? Well, regardless, we fund ourselves, and that's actually the important part. But I think this is long overdue, and I'm very happy to see that President Trump has sent this to Congress and says, and defund, the Democrats are going to self-immolate. They might shoot people, but that's the price that we pay for having a conversation with the left in the United States. So great stuff. White House asks Congress to claw back. Hey, they're using the term claw back. Approved spending targeted by DOGE. It's approved. All spending is approved spending, isn't it? Until it's not approved anymore. Isn't that amazing? And that's the Associated Press headline. That's a propaganda headline. And they've got Josh Boak for the Associated Press, a Democrat, typing up the story. The White House on Tuesday officially asked Congress to claw back $9.4 billion in already approved spending, taking funding away from programs targeted by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. It's a process known as rescission, which requires President Donald Trump to get approval from Congress to return money that had previously been appropriated. Trump's aides say the funding cuts targeted programs that promote liberal ideologies, which they most certainly do, NPR and PBS. Don't kid yourself. Of course they do. So the request, if it passes the House and the Senate, the Democrats will sabotage it everywhere, of course, would formally enshrine many of the spending cuts and freezes sought by DOGE. Good. It comes at a time when Musk is extremely unhappy with the tax cuts and spending plans making its way through Congress, calling it Tuesday a disgusting abomination for increasing the federal deficit. It's increasing the federal debt, really, but let's not get all caught up in words, you know. Amazing stuff. So good. Claw it back. Stop the spending. It's a propaganda network for the Democrat Party and only the Democrat Party. And it's like Harvard. Oh, I've got the vice president coming up, J.D. Vance, talking about Harvard. 90 to 95% liberal left at Harvard. At NPR, it's 95 to 100%. But never mind that. You know, since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, overall abortions actually increased in the United States by about 1% last year. That's the wrong direction. That translates to a reported 1,038,100 unborn babies being snuffed out. Every one of those lives a precious, unborn, helpless life. Through compassionate, loving care and free ultrasounds, Preborn helps women connect with the life growing inside of them. Once a mother hears the heartbeat and sees the baby waving at them, the baby's chance at living a long and happy life actually doubles. Last year alone, Preborn rescued more than 67,000 helpless unborn babies. If you have the means, would you please consider a leadership gift to save unborn babies in a big way? Your tax-deductible donation of $5,000 will sponsor Preborn's entire network across the country for 24 hours, helping to rescue 200 unborn babies. Attaboy. Preborn has a 100% charity rating, so you can give with great confidence. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby when prompted. You dial pound 250, the keyword is baby, or go to Al Gore's amazing internet to preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. Yes, sir. Yes. So defund NPR, defund PBS. Watch the Democrats go to war to save this, because they know that it's their propaganda network that the taxpayers have been funding. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. Yes, it's also Hump Day, and that means, bad news for Hillary, good news for Bill. And it's Mailbag Day here on the Chris Plant Show, too. And right here I have mailbag queries, which are like questions. Man, oh man. I'm looking at the clock and thinking on a nice people I see on the big board here want to talk about great topics, our all-American listeners. But I don't want to, we have too little time left on the clock to go and talk to people, a nice thing. But I am looking at the mailbag questions, and we got some fun stuff there, too. And I'm looking forward to that. But we have a lot to get to. The illegal alien that the terrorist that the Democrats invited into the country, who tried to, he did set 12 people on fire because they're Israelites. And, I'm a Zionist myself. I've got an update for you on that because the Democrats are now angry that the illegal alien with his wife and 5 illegal alien jihadi children the wife and kids are going to be expelled from the United States. And the Democrats are very angry about that because they want more jihad, not less jihad. So you got that coming up. The Chinese communist spies undermining the United States. More of that coming up. Democrats like the Chinese. So the two things the Democrats are angriest about today: renaming the U.S. naval ship Harvey Milk, who they named after an aggressive gay pedophile who loved Jim Jones and the People's Temple even before they all killed themselves, allegedly, in Guyana and South America. And the Democrats named a naval ship after him because they're unwell and everything they believe to be good is bad and everything they believe to be bad is good. And the second thing they're very angry about is that the family members of the mad terrorist in Boulder, Colorado, his wife, he's an illegal alien, and he's here with his wife and 5 kids. And now the Trump administration has announced that the wife and 5 kids will be deported and that their deportation will be expedited. And the news media is very angry about this. They represent the Democrats, of course, not just at NPR, but at MSNBC, which is now known as MS-13 DNC, rather than just MSDNC. And it's just amazing. These people, in fact, did you pull, you got because MSDNC this morning, they're very angry. And again, I was talking to my good friends at WLS this morning on on the show on WLS, which I do every Wednesday morning. And I say, the Democrats are going to be really angry about two things today. That is stripping the name of Harvey Milk off of a naval ship, and second, because it was named out of lunacy, named after Harvey Milk out of lunacy. Why wasn't it named the George Moscone, the mayor that was shot and killed by the same Democrat the same day, elected Democrat Dan White? But I digress. And they're going to be very angry about the family of the Colorado terrorist who was there to use a flamethrower and Molotov cocktails to firebomb pro-Israel marchers who were completely peaceful. And he told the police afterward that he really he'd go back and do it again. He wanted to kill them all and set them all on fire. Fortunately, he did set himself on fire too, but not enough. And on MSDNC this morning, Willie Geist and Morning Joke, the whole gang there, and they had some left-wing radical. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Lemire, who's supposed to be a legitimate news reporter, but isn't. And they're very upset that the family of the radical Islamic jihadi terrorist who was there to firebomb Jewish people and kill them all, he's there with 5 little jihadis, 5 kids, and his wife. And now the Trump administration says they're going to deport them, and they're going to deport them swiftly.
Yeah, making an example is understating it, Willie. White House almost gloating a victory lap. A number of tweets last night about about this suspect's family, rushing them out. Now, in this case, obviously, we don't know the family's involvement. The suspect is accused of a heinous crime. There are certainly plenty of Americans who would be glad to see him go, but might have questions about the family.
Some, not Democrats, but might have questions about the family. And so the news media representing the Democrat Party, they're here to say, the family should stay. They haven't had their chance to kill the Jews yet, to firebomb the Jews. Give the wife, and there's an almost ridiculous story in USA Today that is painting a sympathetic picture of the illegal alien family. I guess, he came in on a visa because of Joe Biden, the terrorist did. Not vetted, at least not vetted very well. And then his visa expired, and he stayed anyway because Democrats and Joe Biden. And now the kids, were the kids here on visas? And if they were here on visas, then what is up with that? But Boulder suspect daughter, listen to this, dreamed of studying medicine. Now she faces deportation. That's the headline at USA Today. We're supposed to be ultimately compassionate toward the jihadis' family because we don't want to be mean to them. We're not firebombing them. We're not setting them on fire. But, she wanted to study medicine. Bring her down to the multiple hospitals where her father's victims are recovering from their burns. Maybe she can learn how things work in burn units, because her father is a radical Islamic jihadi terrorist that firebombed people. And here's Habiba. I told you about Habiba Soliman. Moved to the U.S. hoping to study medicine. Then her father, Mohammed Soliman, was charged with a hate crime. Is that what it is? A hate crime as opposed to a love crime? In an attack aimed at peaceful Jewish demonstrators. Yeah. So she moved to the United States. She's not she just graduated from high school. I know that because her terrorist father said he wanted to wait until his daughter had graduated from high school before he set all the Jews on fire with gasoline. And then I'm supposed to feel nothing but compassion for the daughter, Habiba Soliman, who wears the traditional headdress and looks like might be a conservative Muslim, and she wants to study medicine. The family, originally from Egypt, moved to the United States from Kuwait. So where do you deport her to? Oh, the conundrums. Habiba Soliman recently graduated from high school, but her aspirations were upended when her 45-year-old father was charged with a federal hate crime and 16 counts of attempted murder related to the attack that left a dozen people burned, including an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. Some remain in the hospital. Her life had been headed in a positive direction before the attack. Then it turned out her father was an illegal alien jihadi in the United States, firebombing Jewish marchers. That's problematic. And I tell you what, you're not welcome. Your family's not welcome. I know your father's going to be in the penitentiary for a long, long time, but just amazing. Prior to the attack, Habiba Soleiman had written about her hope of accomplishing great things in the U.S. I guess your father beat you to it. I don't know. Coming to the USA has fundamentally changed me, she wrote in an application for the Colorado Springs Gazette. Unbelievable. The best and brightest scholarship. I learned to adapt to new things. Well, now you get to adapt again. Fortunately, you came to the United States, you learned to adapt. More adaptation ahead. I can feel the adaptation coming. I learned to adapt to new things in life, even if it was hard. I learned to work under pressure and improve rapidly in a very short amount of time. Most importantly, I came to appreciate that family is unchanging support. Oh, so you support your father? Okay. She was accepted to 2 Colorado colleges because Democrats. She won a scholarship that was provided in the Colorado newspaper, where she shared her dream of a future medical career. It's ironic. Maybe a career in explosive technology, too. I've got to say, your father has ruined your family's path because he's a radical Islamic jihadi. He's a terrorist, a would-be mass murderer who tried to buy a gun but wasn't able to because he's an illegal alien. Wait a minute, I thought Democrats said everybody could go buy guns everywhere all the time without background checks. Wait a minute, another Democrat lie revealed? I can't believe that. Instead, the White House said on X on Tuesday that Mohammed Soleiman's wife and 5 children could be deported by tonight. That was last night. They have not been deported yet. FBI and police officials said Monday the family had cooperated with investigators. That's great. You can cooperate by getting into this van and going to the airport. Here we go. Bye-bye. Here's your exit visa. The family's in the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and could not be reached for comment. This terrorism will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, Kristi Noem said on X. We are investigating to what extent the family knew about this heinous attack, if they had knowledge of it, or if they provided support to it. But on MSDNC, they're just, the poor we must protect the family.
They're leaning into this sort of in-your-face imagery that didn't necessarily work per polling earlier this term with deportations to the El Salvador prison and the like.
Yeah, that White House tweet talking about 6 one-way tickets for the
man's different
wife and 5 kids and final boarding coming soon. Again, as some of those victims still recover in the hospital this morning.
Yet they're defending the gang members from El Salvador in the same breath that they're defending the jihadi and his family. That's our news media. That's the Democrat Party. That's what they call liberalism. But keep in mind, they're not liberals. They're the left. And the left kills everyone and destroys everything. The left is the third world. And the Democrat Party is the left. The fundamental transformation of America that Barack Obama threatened, he never said they wanted to make it better, just fundamentally transform it. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Steve, calling from Sarasota, Florida. Steven, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Steve.
You got me roiled up today, just like you do sometimes. And the left, they lionize these people like Che Guevara, Lenin. They build statues to them, and then they rewrite history. And then they've got all the education system there to cover up exactly what they're doing. And so they get this idiot actor from, who could, has a couple brain cells left to rub together to portray Harvey Milk. And then they rewrite that whole thing. and then they teach it to all these students they're then putting stuff over their heads and yelling free Palestine. I mean, this is what they do. You nailed it, Chris. You've gotten to the heart of what the left does, and it's just disgusting.
They're not on our side, and they love Luigi Mangione, who gunned down and murdered a 52-year-old father of two and a husband on a sidewalk in New York, simply because he's CEO of an insurance company, a healthcare insurance company, and they don't like. Now, I thought Barack Obama fixed healthcare with Obamacare, and it's all better now, and we're all supposed to love it. But then they start, because they're the left, and the left murders people by the tens of millions, and they do it in the name of building utopia, just like Jim Jones in Jonestown. They were building a socialist utopia there. And you mentioned, they build statues to him. It's true. I was talking about in Seattle, Washington, there is a 16-foot-tall bronze statue to Lenin, the communist revolutionary. 16-foot-tall bronze. It's a nice statue, well done, good sculptor, of Lenin, the communist revolutionary. And you're right, they wear T-shirts with Che Guevara on the T-shirts. They wear Chairman Mao, the world's most prolific mass murderer in the history of the world, Mao Zedong, in communist China, murdered 50 million to 75 million of his own people, spread, among other things, the Wuhan Red Death just a few years ago. They have a Che Guevara Cafe in Washington, D.C. He was a racist murderer of thousands literally, of people, and he was an anti-black. When liberals hear that Che was a racist, they look confused and say, did he hate white people? No, he hated black people. And then they're confused, and then they forget what they're talking about, and they just stumble into something. But you're right. From Harvey Milk to Che Guevara and Vladimir Lenin, and corrupting the education system and chanting free Palestine. And by the way, the chants used by the terrorist in Colorado who's using a flamethrower and Molotov cocktails on the Jews, chanting the same thing that the students chant at Harvard and at Yale and at Princeton and at Columbia, from the river to the sea and free Palestine. And, Palestine is free. They have their own elections, and the Gaza with 25 miles of Mediterranean beachfront property, more than twice the size of Washington, D.C. They have their own elections, and this is what you get from a two-state solution. You get October 7th. That's what you get. But you're right about the Democrats, big time, Steve, big time.
Yeah, and then they use the institutions of government to continue their propaganda at every level. Go to Harvard and learn how to be a socialist communist. Really? Are you kidding me?
Right.
This is what it's come to.
Yep. And it's Jonestown. These people. You're absolutely right, Steve. And all I try to do is tell the truth and make fun of the lunatics. But boy, they've gotten crazier and crazier, the Democrat Party. They really are the left. They are not liberals. This is not liberalism. Liberals don't defend jihadis. Liberals don't defend illegal alien gangs from Venezuela and El Salvador. And liberals don't defend people that murder clean-cut, normal people, CEOs on the sidewalks of New York. But the Democrats do all of that. And then the great thing about them, Steve, is then they look you in the eye and they lie to you.
Yeah, they're not liberal. They're the left.
Yeah,
you nailed it, Chris.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Steve. Thanks. Great call. And I'm glad that you care and that you're paying attention. We need 330 million people that care and pay attention. Steve is one. That's good. Yeah, and so I got this great soundbite today of 2 million gotaways coming across the border illegally under Joe Biden, and now we got one down. The jihadi. There's in Colorado. There's one, and his family of 6, including him, family of 7, and the Democrats are now like in the media. We can't deport them. We need more jihad, firebombing the Jews. Aren't they amazing? BOGO is back. Buy one, get one. BOGO's back for 1 week only on the Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3 air purifier, the third version. The new Thunderstorm uses 2 different technologies that help kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air. Helps remove dust and pet stuff and smoke and all the nasty stuff in the air that you breathe. Gets rid of any odor at the same time, and no filters to buy and replace over and over again. You can hold a thunderstorm in your hand. They're only this big. I'm holding my hand up like this. The thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Talking about trash cans, cigarette smoke, stinky shoes, left-wing protesters, musty basements. All smells will disappear in just a few seconds with the thunderstorm being on. But this week only, you buy 1 thunderstorm, you get 1 for free. You buy 2, you get 2 for free. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number for free. You can put one in your basement, your bedroom, your teenager's room, give one as a gift. You can use it as a hint. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo for buy 1, get 1. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris, B-O-G-O. Yes, sir. Yeah, Steve is paying attention. He's a responsible adult, a responsible voter, a responsible taxpayer, and a listener to our humble radio broadcast where the truth is spoken.
Liberals amuse me. I am a socialist.
All right, I have but 1 hour left to give for my country today. And I got a lot of stuff. First of all, I have mailbag questions right here. And I've got Hakeem Jeffries wants ICE agents to be murdered and their families to be the targets of terrorists. That's the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. He was raised by a virulent anti-Semite himself, Professor Leonard Jeffries being his guideposts growing up. And, yeah, Hakeem Jeffries says he vows to dox ICE agents. Yeah, why are they wearing masks? Because of fear of assassination by Democrats and their allies in organized crime syndicates around the world. And Hakeem Jeffries should be expelled from Congress for this. But he won't. The Democrats will probably run him for president because he's incredibly corrupt and anti-Semitic, and he has the right melanin levels. Isn't he amazing? Just great stuff. And also, well, there's more.